What if the most powerful love story in Hollywood wasn't about staying together, but about breaking apart and becoming something even more extraordinary? Behind closed doors and red carpet smiles, one A-list family shattered every rule of fame, family, and forever. Why did a rock legend embrace his ex-wife's new husband like a brother? What secret bond still ties them all together years after the romance faded? The truth will shake everything you thought you knew about celebrity breakups. Stay tuned, because the most shocking chapters were never in the tabloids. Until now. It started with an elevator ride. Brief, silent, electric. No one watching would have guessed that a single awkward compliment about hair would be the spark that would launch a decades-long emotional journey between Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. But sometimes, the quietest moments hold the loudest truths. For years, Kravitz kept the heart of their story locked away. Now, with just 4 simple words, "Finally, I can speak," he's shattered that silence. And what he revealed isn't some tabloid-friendly jab or bitter memory. It's something far deeper. A confession soaked in admiration, love, and a rare kind of clarity that only time can offer. Flashback to 1985. New Edition concert, backstage, buzzing energy. Amid all the noise, an unassuming, nervous Lenny. Then going by the name Romeo Blue, locked eyes with Lisa Bonet, already a household name thanks to The Cosby Show. For him, she was more than just a star. She was the moment. "I like your hair," he told her, words he later cringed at in his memoir, Let Love Rule, calling it one of the worst lines imaginable. But Bonet didn't flinch. That elevator ride turned into a turning point. "We vibed immediately," he wrote. Time slowed down, and from that fragile connection, something unshakable began to grow. You see, this wasn't a celebrity fling or red carpet convenience. It wasn't scripted. It was soul level. And as Kravitz would later confess, that moment carved a place in his heart that never healed, never faded, just evolved. And in a world where Hollywood love stories often implode, theirs defied gravity, even after it was over. Because when the cameras stopped flashing, the connection never did. Years before they became a couple, Bonet offered him a couch, a small gesture that meant everything to a struggling artist trying to find his place. "I was still hiding behind Romeo Blue," he admitted. "Lisa made me comfortable being Lenny." Her presence didn't just give him love, it gave him permission to step into who he truly was. Creativity flowed. His music sharpened. The artist bloomed. But it wasn't a grand proposal or a romantic setup that changed everything. It was a stumble, a literal one. Lisa tripped one night in the studio and fell into his arms. And in that moment, something shifted. "We started kissing," Kravitz recalled. "That night I moved into Lisa's bedroom. Just like that, they weren't just close, they were inseparable. Destiny doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through chaos." Soon, their romance exploded with energy, a cosmic collision of artistry, passion, and rebellion. They weren't just lovers, they were muses to each other. From their shared love for vintage rock to their spiritual philosophies, they built a universe where authenticity reigned. Their bohemian lifestyle echoed in their music, in their style, in how they showed up in a world that constantly tried to label them. They married on Lisa's 20th birthday, November 16, 1987, in a quiet Vegas chapel. No frills, no glitz, just a raw promise made on their terms. At the time, Lisa was the star, and Lenny was the one playing catch-up. "People called me Mr. Bonet," he said later. "I didn't care. I was married to the most beautiful woman inside and out." While the world was watching Lisa, Lenny was watching the music unfold in his soul. She gave him space to breathe, and that freedom turned into sonic brilliance. Their early years were modest by Hollywood standards, but filled with intention. Kravitz didn't chase flashy cars or opulent real estate right away. Instead, he poured his energy into his career. But as his success skyrocketed in the 90s, so did the luxury. Lenny's taste evolved into something refined, yet rebellious. Today, his garage houses some of the most coveted vehicles: vintage Mercedes-Benz models, a Porsche 911, and a matte black Range Rover that screams understated wealth. Every property is an extension of his creative mind. His private jet? A modest Gulfstream G450, customized to suit both travel and touring needs. But behind the glamour, Lenny has always been calculated. He's invested in sustainable fashion through his brand Kravitz Design and collaborated with high-end labels like Dom Perignon and Leica. He holds stake in eco-conscious companies, real estate ventures, and even insurance policies crafted to protect not just his wealth, but his legacy. His health, touring equipment, guitars, artwork, and recording masters are all insured, reportedly through Lloyd's of London, a move that mirrors the quiet empire he's built. What's the takeaway here? Kravitz's life isn't just about spending big, it's about investing smart. He's shown us that wealth is about creating freedom, not just buying it. That authenticity can be the biggest asset in a manufactured world, and that even when love shifts, respect can remain rock solid. These aren't just love stories. They're lessons in how to honor your truth, even when the world doesn't understand it. Zoe's presence had become the bridge no one expected, an emotional compass pulling two people back from the chaos of heartbreak into a space of mutual respect. Lenny Kravitz, once shattered by the end of his marriage, had begun to rebuild his identity, not through bitterness, but through connection. That rare alchemy, turning emotional wreckage into healing gold, was exactly what made fans lean in closer, mesmerized. What kind of man finds grace in the wreckage of love? Kravitz did. And as he welcomed Zoe into his Miami home when she was just 11, the transformation of a rock star turned dedicated father marked the beginning of his new chapter. Back then, he was a man ruled by music and the road, his life a blur of studios, stages, and screaming fans. But the moment Zoe moved in, that rhythm changed. No longer just the rocker behind Fly Away and American Woman, Kravitz shifted into something deeper. A father who found stability in shared breakfasts, school runs, and grounding routine. He admitted it altered his life. "It really helped me focus," he said. "I had to make some lifestyle changes." And he did. The partying slowed. The introspection deepened. That subtle shift became a second act, not in his music career, but in his personal journey. While his songs still carried echoes of heartbreak, the chaos that once defined his lifestyle was now tempered by clarity. During this period, Kravitz quietly built a legacy not just in music, but in wealth. Once worth a few million in the 90s, today his net worth is estimated at over $90 million, bolstered by global tours, royalties, high-end collaborations with luxury brands like Dom Perignon, and savvy investments. But it doesn't end there. He assembled a striking real estate portfolio spanning across Paris, Brazil, the Bahamas, and a modernist Los Angeles estate valued at $38 million. His Brazilian farm estate alone, a lush, eco-luxurious retreat, reflects not just wealth, but intention. Here, Kravitz reportedly finds peace among organic gardens and wide-open skies. Add to that his garage, sleek and symbolic. Among his collection are vintage BMWs, a Ferrari 612 Scaglietti, and a classic Shelby Mustang. Known for his timeless fashion, he's been spotted wearing a Rolex Submariner and a rare Cartier Tank Americaine. He's the kind of man who doesn't just own style, he defines it. And yet, even as his luxury lifestyle took on dreamlike proportions, it was his human moments, the cracks in the armor. But as Zoe thrived publicly, Lisa Bonet remained fiercely private. until recent times hinted at a shift. Her low-key lifestyle in Topanga Canyon had once been a sanctuary, but recent sources say she may be downsizing. The whispers? Financial recalibration. A quiet selling of assets. It's unconfirmed, but the signs are there. Property listings, rare public sightings. Could this be the prelude to a reinvention? This rumor mill only accelerated after her quiet separation from Jason Momoa. After years of appearing rock solid, their split stunned Hollywood. Unlike her divorce from Kravitz, this breakup was cloaked in near silence. The woman who once defied convention by leaving The Cosby Show to follow her creative spirit now found herself redefining her life again, this time in her 50s. And that's what makes her story even more magnetic. What's next for Lisa Bonet? A memoir? A return to film? A spiritual retreat brand? The possibilities are endless, and people are watching. Meanwhile, Jason Momoa's own trajectory has hit unexpected turbulence. Once heralded as Hollywood's newest action king with Aquaman pulling in over $1 billion globally, his recent career moves suggest recalibration. His newest film, The Last Frontier, underperformed, and insiders claim he's pivoting toward indie roles and off-grid living. He's been seen spending time in Hawaii, deeply immersed in environmental causes. There's talk of a sustainable tequila brand, and even launching a nature docuseries. Yet for all the evolving paths, one thread ties them all: Zoe. She is the living proof that broken stories can still build beauty. The child of two creative powerhouses who's watched them love, lose, and rise again, now commands a narrative entirely her own. And as she prepares to release her directorial debut, a deeply personal, stylistic film exploring identity and legacy, there's an electric anticipation in the air. The project, already in post-production, has insiders buzzing about Sundance buzz and critical acclaim. This generational unfolding of growth, loss, wealth, and rebirth isn't just entertainment. It's a mirror. Lenny, Lisa, Jason, and Zoe have become more than celebrities. They're modern mythologies playing out in real time. And just when you think you've seen it all, another revelation drops. A quiet comment, a photo, a property listing, and the story shifts again. Even now, Lenny Kravitz's melodies carry whispers of a past that never fully faded. Every lyric a coded message to Lisa Bonet. Every guitar riff a sigh from a love that simply evolved. The shocking part? While fans speculated for years, it wasn't until recently that Kravitz dropped his emotional armor. And when he did, the floodgates opened. He revealed what many suspected but never confirmed, that their bond never broke, it just changed forms. In an industry known for cold breakups and legal battles, his words stunned listeners, especially when he said, "She's a part of my life that will never leave my heart, my soul, or my spirit." That wasn't just nostalgia talking. It was a quiet confession, wrapped in harmony and poetic grief. But it's what came after that truly shook fans. Kravitz wasn't just mourning what was. He was celebrating what grew in its place, because Lisa's new partner, Jason Momoa, didn't just coexist with Kravitz. He became family. In a world where exes often keep polite distance, Lenny invited Jason in. They didn't just share dinners, they shared birthdays, red carpets, and fatherhood. When Jason and Lisa had 2 children, Kravitz didn't step back. He stepped closer. Who does that? Who rewrites the rule book like that? It's no surprise then that fans were left speechless when Lenny called Jason a brother. That kind of emotional evolution in Hollywood is nearly unheard of. A family unit that defies tradition and thrives on mutual respect, emotional intelligence, and radical love. That's not just rare, it's revolutionary. But what fuels this emotional maturity? A life that's been anything but ordinary. Kravitz, once the androgynous rebel of rock, transformed over decades into one of music's elder statesmen. From Are You Gonna Go My Way to his deeply spiritual memoir, Let Love Rule, his career has always mirrored his personal evolution. Yet behind the glamour and stage lights lies a financial story that's just as compelling. At his peak, Kravitz was earning over $20 million annually from touring, record sales, and licensing. Today, his net worth hovers around $90 million, but it wasn't always a smooth climb. During the early 2000s, shifting trends in music meant lower album sales, but Kravitz pivoted fast. Instead of fading, he invested in fashion, architecture, and even launching Kravitz Design, a luxury interior firm responsible for spaces in New York, Miami, and Paris. His Brazilian farm, complete with horses, orchards, and a recording studio, reflects his commitment to soul and sustainability. His Paris townhouse is a blend of old-world charm and modern minimalism, worth over $14 million today. In the Bahamas, his private retreat isn't just an escape, it's a statement that freedom is the ultimate luxury. Then come the wheels. Lenny's car collection is as curated as his sound. Sleek, intentional, iconic. From his vintage Mercedes 600 Pullman to the more recent matte black Rolls-Royce Wraith, every ride tells a story, not just of wealth, but of identity. The same goes for his timepieces. Kravitz has been spotted in Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and limited edition Rolex Daytonas, each chosen not just for status, but for heritage. But Kravitz isn't just a collector of beautiful things. He's a strategist. He's held partial ownership in various startup ventures, including eco-friendly clothing lines and boutique sound equipment. One of his boldest moves? Joining a tech media firm's board in 2019, taking equity over salary. Today, that decision alone has generated over $8 million in equity. And here's a financial twist you probably didn't see coming. Kravitz has long been meticulous about asset protection. Industry insiders whisper about his high-end insurance policies, health, career interruption, and even performance-specific voice coverage. It's the kind of financial armor that only the savviest icons build. One former agent noted, "Lenny isn't flashy with wealth, he's surgical. Every move he makes is long-term." What can fans learn from all this? That wealth isn't just built on hits and fame, but on adaptation and vision. Kravitz's wealth-building playbook leans heavily into diversification, privacy, and strategic reinvention. Don't be where the industry is. Be where it's headed. That's the Lenny Kravitz way. But perhaps the most profound investment he's made? Emotional wealth. When Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa publicly separated in 2022, many expected fractures. Instead, what we saw was grace. When Lenny posted a birthday tribute to Bonet, Jason didn't just approve, he sent heart emojis. That one emoji was louder than a press release. It was a signal. This family doesn't shatter. It reshapes. These aren't just celebrity headlines, they're lessons in resilience, reinvention, and the power of staying connected even when the romance fades. So if you felt a spark of inspiration, if your jaw dropped even once, or if you're now Googling vintage photos of Kravitz in a leather vest, don't worry, we've all been there. Hit that like button. Smash subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the real stories behind the red carpet. And drop a comment. What shocked you most?